WPU School of Pharmacy. The 21st century, a new era, receptive to Eastern healthcare. माझा व्हिडिओ दिसतोय का?
Yes.
सुरू कर तू, राहू दे सुरू. ईशा.
The 21st century has marked the beginning of a new era receptive to Eastern healthcare philosophy through positive attitudes. In India, 7 traditional systems are recognized: Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, Naturopathy, Homeopathy, and more recently, the Sowa Rujpa of Tibet. Of this, Ayurveda, which is the world's oldest recorded system, is being practiced to a large extent today. It mainly concentrates on the health and well-being of the individual on the whole and as a member of the society. Ayurveda has been known to treat many chronic diseases such as diabetes, arthritis, asthma, and that too without any lasting side effects. But it's unfortunate that this ancient system of medicine has been overshadowed by the more recent and contemporary allopathic medicine and the instant. Therefore, to enlighten us about this time. Therefore, to enlighten us about this science and to particularly give us a pharmaceutical aspect into it today, we have with us today Vaidya Yogesh Prabhune of the Ayurved Rashashala, Pune. To begin with, I would like to request our Dean, Dr. Kuchekar sir, to present the welcome address.
Thank you, Isha. So on behalf of MIT World Peace University's School of Pharmacy, I welcome you all, the panelists, the attendees for this very important webinar on the topic Introduction to Ayurveda with reference to pharmaceutical aspect. And today's speaker is the well-known Vaidya, who is Yogesh S. Prabhune. He is going to deliver a talk on that very important topic, which is very close to all our pharmacy faculty members and pharmacy students. At the same time, I welcome all the attendees, but just I saw the attendees here and some names which are expert in the field of pharmacology. Dr. Sanjay Bhavar from Pravara College of Pharmacy and Dr. Jagdish Baheti from Nagpur. I welcome you, both of them, for this Ayurveda Rasashala as a topic on introduction to Ayurveda with reference to pharmaceutical aspect. And for the students and for the faculty members, this is a very important topic, and we should, this is my request to all the attendees and students, you prepare the questions which are to be asked to the expert, Dr. Vaidya Yogesh S. Prabhune. And also I welcome in the attendees, I see the Vijay Tate, who is from Lupin Research Park. I welcome you, Mr. Vijay, for this very important seminar or webinar on Ayurveda. Without taking much time, once again, I welcome you all, the speaker, the experts, and faculty members and students for this webinar. Thank you so much.
Sir, I now
Yes,
request Professor webinar. But before that, there's a polite notice for all the attendees that if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and they will be addressed after the session is over. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Isha. Here, I would like to introduce Vaidya Yogesh Prabhune. Sir has completed his Bachelor of Ayurvedic Medicine and Surgery and Master of Philosophy in Ayurveda from Pune University. His area of interest includes survey and literary research of medicinal plants in Ayurveda, development of awareness regarding medicinal plants in society, use of information and technology in Ayurveda and clinical research, development of IT-based products in healthcare sector. Dr. Prabhune has worked as Senior Research Fellow in Jawaharlal Nehru Ayurvedic Medicinal Plant Garden and Herbarium, CCRAS. In the same institute, he has worked as Junior Research Fellow for the project Inventorizing the Medicinal Plant Resources of India, sponsored by DBT, Ministry of Science and Technology, Government of India. He has also worked as a research fellow in Center for Development in Advanced Computing (CDAC) in Ayusoft project. Sir has also worked as senior research fellow in a project related to health informatics for common man. In Sickle Cell Department, Maharashtra Arogya Mandal Pune, Sir has worked as a research associate. Currently, Dr. Prabhune is working as Deputy Manager in Raw Material Department of Ayurved Rasashala from 2016. Dr. Yogesh Prabhune has on his credit a book named Database on Medicinal Plants Used in Ayurveda and also few research publications. For his valuable work in the field of Ayurveda, Dr. Prabhune has been awarded by Vanaushadhi Sanshodhan Puraskar 2018. With this brief introduction, I would like to request Dr. Prabhune sir to address our students with his knowledge of Ayurveda. Thank you. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, madam. Namaskar, everybody, all the dignitaries of the MIT College of Pharmacy. On behalf of Ayurved Rasashala, I, Vaidya Yogesh Prabhune, welcome to you all. My topic is Introduction to Ayurveda with some concepts related to pharmacy. What is Ayurveda? Ayurveda is merely a herbal medicine, or Ayurveda is some formulation developed by some spiritual persons? No. The definition of Ayurveda is totally different. Ayu means life and Ved means knowledge. So Ayurveda is a science or the knowledge of life. It defines that what is advantageous, what is disadvantageous, or what are the states of happy and unhappy states of life, and what is good for the life to be is guided in Ayurveda. Herbal medicine is the science only which is related to plant and plant extracts. But Ayurveda in centuries old, it is regarded as Hindu medicine. But it is all accepted by Indian continent and the world now. It also guides, it's the only science which guides how to live healthy life and how to live healthy life. In Ayurveda has certain aims that iha khalu Ayurveda prayojanam vyadinam upasrushtanam vyadinam parimokshanam swasthasya swasthya rakshanam. In the present time, we all are facing many problems and pandemics, epidemics all over the world. And the base of Ayurveda is that to maintain the healthy status of the man, and that he should not get ill. And but in any times, if he gets ill, then he should have some dietary regime or some pathya, what we say, and medicines, so that he gets cured permanently. Why? In Ayurveda, there is described which is called as Dinacharya, daily regime, and Rutucharya, which is called as seasonal regime. In that means, or 100 or 200 years back, the bathroom and the washroom was outside the place where we live, and there the people who used to come from outside, they should have a wash or a bath and then enter the house. And exactly in this scenario of COVID, we should first get sanitized and then touch everywhere to avoid this infection. So such a long vision was there. Why should we have good health? We should have good health for dharma. Dharma doesn't mean religion, but the path what we follow. Artha. Artha means to earn for our family, to have good marital status, and ultimately moksha. Moksha doesn't mean that we should be able to view Paramatma, but anayasenam maranam. Because what is life? Life is a combination of sense organs, total human body, the spirit inside us, that is called as Atma, which is the concept of Ayurveda, and it is a continuum, and so it is called as Nitya, and it is all in relation with each other, so it is called as Anubandha. So there is a shlok which is called as Sharire Sattvatma Sanyogadhari Jivitam Nityakascha Anubandhascha Paryaya Ayu Uchyate Tasya Vijnanam Ayurveda. What does the health mean? The definition of health in Ayurveda is described, which is accepted by who also? A man who is physically fit, but mentally, if he is disturbed, is he healthy? No. So he should have Sama dosha, Sama Agni, should have good digestive fire. He should have all the good body tissues. Means he should not have only adipose tissue, which is very much more fat inside, or very too slim. All the dosha, dhatu, and mala, these are the concepts of Ayurveda. If they are in balance, he will be physically healthy, but also he should be prasanna, means his atma, indriya, mana, means psychological functions should be good, physiological function should be good, and if all these are in balance, then we say that it is the state of health. In basics of Ayurveda, after starting this topic, every science has its own terminology. So there are many terms which you will be very new to it. So I have given contemporary meaning. Ayurveda stands on the following tripods. One is Hetu, second is Linga, and third is Aushad. Hetu means the cause of disease, Linga means the signs and symptoms of the disease, and medicine includes not only the medicines, but the seasonal regime or dietary regime, and which are included in the medicines. Dosha, Dhatu, Mala are the concepts of Ayurveda. Dosha doesn't mean anything, Dhatu doesn't mean metal, or Mala doesn't only mean all the excreta, but all these things in a normal state are in our body, and if they are in imbalance, they will cause the disease condition. Dosha are described as Vata, Pitta, Kapha. Dhatu means which are in the body, which are the body tissues, which is Rasa, Rakta, Mausa, Meda, Asthi, Majja, and Shukra. Rasa and Rakta is plasma and blood. Mausa is the muscular tissue in the body. Meda is the adipose tissue or the fat in the body. Asthi means the bony element in the body. Majja means the nervous system as well as the bone marrow, what we call. And Shukra is the genital or Shukra is the reproductive tissue in the body. Sweda means the sweat, urine, and Purish is the stools. All this should be in balance. Otherwise, if there is imbalance, it causes disease condition. Another concept of Ayurveda is Pancha Mahabhuta. Pancha Mahabhuta, we all know. If some people know about spirituality or Indian philosophy, Ayurveda believes that every element in the world is made up of these 5 Mahabhuta. Prithvi, Aap, Teja means Agni, Vayu, and Akash. And their organoleptic characters or objects of these 5 sensory organs are Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Gandha, which we can recognize through the sensory organs like ear, skin, eye, tongue, and nose. Now, as a democracy, majority wins. Every Mahabhuta is majoritarily composed of, means Prithvi Mahabhuta is not only the Parthiv element or the earthen element in the body, but it is also composed of minor elements like Jala, Akash, Vayu, Agni. This theory is called as majority wins in English or Vyapadeshastu Bhuyasa in Sanskrit. This is the characteristics that Vayu, the space or the Akash as the Shabda as its attribute, and its main property is apratighatatva. You can't divide it. The air has both Shabda and Sparsha as its attribute, and its main property is chalatva, means you can see the air move, you can feel the air moving. Agni has three attributes: Shabda, Sparsha, and Rupa, and its main property is Ushnatva or heat. Jala has Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, and Jala does, sorry, there is a mistake in the slide. Jala has Shita Gun, and Prithvi Tattva is having Shabda, Sparsha, Rupa, Rasa, Gandha, and it is having roughness or Kharatva. We all have learned in Marathi medium that Ahara Chauras Asawa, or there should be 4 tastes in our meal. But Ayurveda says that Ahar should be Shad Rasatmak. These 6 tastes are having, there is a table which will demonstrate the Mahabhuta, the effect, physiological effect on dosha, and the rasa. The sweet taste is called as Madhura, sour taste is called as Amla, salt is Lavana, spicy is Katu, bitter is Tikta. This should be also in our diet. And every Indian person has affection towards bitter taste, or once as a ritual also, once in a year we have a bitter taste. And of course Kashaya. The Vata, Pitta and Kapha have the Panchabhautik constitution. Vata is composed of Vayu and Akash Mahabhut, Pitta is composed of Agni Mahabhut, and Kapha is composed with Jala and Prithvi Mahabhut. We all are having bird's eye view on Ayurveda, because in 1 hour it is very difficult to pour the whole ocean in a pot. Gagar mein sagar bhar nahi sakte. So bird's eye view I will tell about Ayurveda. Ayurveda in our classical texts, Charaka, Sushruta and Vagbhata, is divided into 8 folds or 8 divisions, which is called as Ashtanga Ayurveda. Anga means body parts. So first is Kaya Chikitsa. Kaya means the whole body, and the medicine, general medicine for the body, is called as Kaya Chikitsa. Kaumara Bhrutya generally deals with pediatrics, neonatal medicine. Graha Chikitsa. In good olden days, there it was called as Bhuta Vidya, and pacification of possessing spirits, but it is related to psychology also. Shalakya Tantra. Shalakya Tantra is the branch of the Ayurveda which deals with ear, nose and eye disorders, that is the diseases above neck. Shalya Tantra means surgery. Agada Tantra, toxicology. Toxicology is related with snake bites or poisons or venoms, etc. Rasayana Chikitsa, that is a regenerative medicine, or to maintain the healthy status in old age also, and should have a good life entirely. Vajikarana or Vrusha Chikitsa mainly deals with marital problems or infertility or reproductive problems. Treatment modalities in Ayurveda. If we go to some Ayurveda clinic, sometimes we see that there is a treatment, and the Vaidya gives certain medicines in the form of powder and or a packet, and he tells that you take that medicine. So he recognizes that this disease should be treated with Shaman Chikitsa, in that he gives the drugs which will pacify and balance 3 dosha, Saptadhatu and 3 mala, so that the disease will get cured. Or the Shodhan Chikitsa, which deals with expulsion of increased dosha or imbalanced dosh dhatu mala. We all are acquainted now with 5-fold therapy of Ayurveda, in all over India, there are many spas or Panchakarma clinics. Panchakarma is five-fold therapy, which doesn't only merely mean a massage or sauna bath, but Panchakarma, in the list, you will never see a Svedana or this thing, but Pancha means five, and in that there is five treatments: Vamana, Virechana, Basti, Rakta Mokshana, and Nasya. Vamana means some medications are given and excess kapha is expelled out. This is mainly for the kapha disorders or obesity or many elements, but mainly related to kapha. Virechana means the medicine is given and medicine induced purgative treatment is given so that the man will have extra stools and the pitta dosha will go out of the body, which is excess. Basti is the treatment which is given by rectal administration of the drugs, and it is given by the source of enema. Rakta Mokshan has many types. It is bloodletting. If you see 2,000 or 3,000 old treatment of blood pressure, it was bloodletting. But Rakta Mokshan means it is related to skin problems or what we call skin problems, or sometimes it is related also with headaches also. Rakta Mokshan has many types, means bloodletting by needle, bloodletting by leech, and many types. Nasya is nasal administration of drugs. Nose is said to be the gateway of brain according to Ayurveda. There is a slok that Nasa hi shiraso dwaram. So the medicine which you put in the nose, which might be a medicated ghee or medicated oil, for example, anutel or pure ghee, if you drop, it is given in the treatment of sinuses and also for headaches also. So this is Nasya. But before going to Panchakarma, the patient or the human being is subjected to Purva Karma, which is called as Snehana therapy and Svedana therapy. There is spelling mistake, Swadana therapy. Svedana therapy and Snehana therapy. Snehana means oleation therapy. Oleation therapy is given by ghee, medicated ghee or oil, or application of oil externally also. In many Panchakarma center, you will see a photo of a sauna bath and a man lying on, or a person which is lying, and some people are having a massage. So this is not merely a massage, but Snehan is given internally and externally, both. Svedana means the sudation therapy. With oleation therapy, Snehana, the extra imbalance of the dosha, extra exaggerated doshas in the body, which are in touch with the body tissues, get soft. And Svedana means the sudation, or which we call as sauna or the steam application, melts the exaggerated doshas in the body from the and gets in the center of the body, and then it is expelled out by Vamana or Virechana. In Ayurveda, the source of medicine, this is all about what we talk about Ayurveda. Now we come to our pharmacy aspect of Ayurveda. Ayurveda in olden days was taught in Gurukula, where the main physician had his shishyas, and as it is a Ved, means Ved according to Indian philosophy is to be learned in 12 years. Means one Ved, and Ayurveda is a Upanga of Yajurveda, Atharva Ved, and so it is to be learned in 12 years. So the disciples and the Guru were there, and they used to use the medicines which were herbal, minerals, metals, animal origin also. So in the plants and its products like roots, leaf, fruit, bark, milky exudates, pith, what we call as a sara, and gum oleoresin, the famous gum oleoresin which we commonly use in the kitchen is Asafoetida, which is a gum oleoresin which is called as Niryasa, and Bal. In minerals, they were using in form of bhasma, metals and non-metals. Animal origin drugs were also used, like dugdha, milk, curd, honey, takra, honey, etc. Now these drugs were in their approachable limits, and these drugs were understood by the Ayurvedic physicians and Ayurveda according to its rasa, means the taste. What is the taste of the drug? Virya means what is the potency of the drug. Means if you taste the ginger, you will see that it is having the pungent taste. And if you taste the amla, it is having the sour taste. What is its effect on the body? Of course, the ginger is having taste pungent. It is having the kapha pacification property. Dry ginger is having kapha pacification property due to its hot potency. Amla, if you eat and after some time, you will see that its effect on the body is like sweet. If you drink water on gooseberry, it will have a sweetness also. The effects other than rasa, virya and vipaka are known as prabhava. For example, wheat and barley, both are edible and were used as flours in dietary regime now also and in old days also. But if you eat wheat has snigdha, wheat gives snigdhata or oleation in the body, whereas if you eat barley for a very long period, it will produce a dryness in the body, mild dryness, but that is its prabhava. I have elaborated that rasa is the taste of the dravya. Vipaka is the post-digestive state, and vipaka in Ayurveda is madhur vipak, amla vipak, and katu vipak. And virya is described as the potency of the drug. Prabhav is the determined action of the drug other than rasa, virya, and vipaka. Now, the Ayurvedic physicians were used to live in a gram where there were many plants, and they used to live in a civilized area. But they were in Ayurveda, it is guided that how to identify the plants. There is a slok that Oshadi means medicinal plant. Oshadi nama रूपाभ्याम जानती या जपावने अविपाश्चैव गोपाश्च ये चान्ये वनवासिना. Those who travel or live in the forest, those who are well acquainted with the plants, nowadays field botanists we can call them, and gopa means those who go with the animals to have the grazing in the forest. From them we should get the knowledge. And this is the guiding shloka for the identification of medicinal plants. And only the name is not sufficient, or the appearance is not sufficient, but the medicine and its application as well as is important. Round about 1,250 plants are currently used in various Ayurvedic preparations. In Ayurveda, the basic preparation was Pancha, means 5, Pancha Vida Kashaya Kalpana. Pancha Vida Kashaya Kalpana is a basic pharmaceutic procedure explained in Ayurvedic sciences, and it is for the immediate use of the patient. One is Swarasa, which means fresh juice. Kalka means fine paste. Kwatha means decoction. Varunadi Kwatha, you get in the bottle right now, packed. Hima means cold infusion. That is something dipped in the cold water and the essential oil properties are maintained. For example, Sarivadi Hima or Ushiradi Hima means khas. Sharbat, what we call in the contemporary era, Fanta means a hot infusion, which is a dip tea. These are some pictures of herbal medicines. Now, this is the dry ginger. In between, there is a guduchi. We can see the namarup with the fruits, the stem, which part should be used. Krishna tulasi, piper longum, that is the pimpli. The swarasa is the fresh extracted juice, which is, but sometimes there may be a dry drug. So that dry drug is soaked overnight in the water and then the juice is expelled. Or it is taken with one part of the dry drug and 4 parts of the water and it is boiled to 1/4. Putta paka means some drugs are, if we crush them, we can't get juice of it. So some drugs are then coated with leaves and then coated with mud and they are then heat processed and then after heating them they get boiled like they get boiled inside and then we can easily crush and make the juice. Kalka means the paste. Nimba Patra Kalka is a very famous preparation which is practiced in Ayurveda as well as in our Indian culture. Vatha means decoction. It is 4 times or 8 times or 16 times for Mrudu Madhyam, that is the property or Kathin Dravya. And Trifala Kwatha, Varunadi Kwatha, Mahamanjishtadi Kwatha are contemporary Kwatha which are now available in the market. Hima means Dhanyakadi Hima means in commonly where it is a very household remedy that if we have burning micturition or if we have a body heat, we take some dhania and jeera, pound it and then soak it in the water and retain it for night, strain it and then in the morning we take. If we take, we will feel the relief. Similarly, Fanta. Fanta means contemporarily dip tea or a coarse powder. Recently, for protection and to increase the immunity, Ayush Mantralaya has given us Ayush Kwatha Churna. Ayush Kwatha Churna that is to be boiled in the water, or you can have that preparation which can be also used as Fanta. But after these basic kalpanas, as the age proceeded, there was a need to increase the shelf life, to increase the potency, to improve the palatability and promote the feasibility and lessen the dose of the drug. So these basic Kashaya Kalpanas were then developed in the form of Asava, Arishta, Guti, Vati, Avaleha, Pravai, Kwatha and Siddhataila. Asava and Arishtas are Kashaya Kalpana which are made afterwards in syrup added with sugar or jaggery and then they are fermented naturally. No any alcohol is added. There is a self-generated alcohol which is less than 12%. It acts as preservative and also retains the property of the medicinal herbs. Gutivati is Ayurvedic pills or the tablets. It promotes the feasibility to take. There may be a combination of various herbs or maybe a single herb or tablet is made. For example, Trifala tablet or Trifala Vati is made, or and that is taken, and that is to be promoting feasibility. And for Trifala tablet is taken for many elements, right from obesity to constipation. Matra is a conical shaped tablet. It's like a cylindrical tablet and it is rubbed on the stone slab mixed with honey and adjuvant as an adjuvant or water or milk, whatever. And it is rubbed and the paste is then applied on the tongue or for consumption. Avaleha, the famous worldwide famous Avleha is Chyawanprash Avleha. Avleha means some drugs are mixed together and added with guda, means jaggery or sharkara, added with honey to the juice of the decoction and then make a paste-like formulation, which is to be licked. So this Chyawanprash, we all know, is also recommended for increase in immunity for the current scenario by Ayush Ministry, as it contains vitamin C. And Chyawanprash Avleha has main ingredient amla. Amla has its own property as it contains tannin. After boiling also the vitamin C doesn't perish. So that is the peculiarity of Ayurveda. Ayurveda promotes Avla, Hirada and Beda, of course, are the tripods of Ayurveda. And Chyawanprash Avleha is having, if it is prepared in a proper manner and proper drugs are used, and if it is consumed in a proper manner, it will promote and increase the immunity, and it is used as a Nitya Rasayan accepted to all, means right from old age to a small children above 5 years, it can be given. It is so safe. Pravahi Kwat. Pravahi Kwat is a new concept in which the decoction is fermented naturally and is in concentrated form, and it is packed. It is many pharmacies, to increase the palatability and stability of the drug, have now started marketing, but the drug name remains as Quata. For example, if you go in the market, if you go in the pharmacy and you ask for Triphala Quat, you can get the Triphala Quat. But in that Triphala Quat, or if we take Varunadi Quat, the Varunadi Quat is first made in as a decoction or Quat as a standard, according to standard procedure, and then it is added with Madhura Dravya, like sugar or jaggery, and then it is added with some medicines which will self-generate alcohol, which will have medicine will the flowers of Woodfordia fruticosa are added into it, and so that it will generate alcohol, and the medicine will have stability. But the name of the medicine will be Varunadi Quat. The qualities of medicine are described in Ayurveda, and it is described as the medicine is that which will be Bahukalpam, Bahugunam, Sampannam Yogya Aushadam. Means the medicine, of course, this definition is given in Ashtanga Hridaya, and from that I am quoting it. The medicine can be used, should be used in multiple ways, can be used. For example, a ginger powder, if we have indigestion also, it can be mixed with lemon juice and can be consumed. If we have headache, some people add with it ginger powder, nutmeg powder and camphor, mix it a fine paste, apply on the head, and can be used as an external application also, can be used as an internal application also. Should have multiple properties, should have good potency. Ayurveda says that even if a toxic material is there and if it is given in a proper dose, it acts as a medicine. But if a good medicine, if it is given improperly, it will act as a toxic substance. There is a very big misunderstanding that there is no side effect. No side effect means if you take rice and if you consume it, means if you take a food in a more than a quantity which we require, and if we consume it, it will also be toxic. It will cause indigestion also. It is about food. Then we are talking about medicine. Medicine should be given, it should be properly manufactured, it should be properly used, and it should not be overdosed. Or the right example means the timely example is that people Ayush Mantralaya has given Ayush Path Churna, which is directed by Mantralaya, and it has given only 4 medicines, in which there is ginger, cinnamon, Krishna Tulsi, and black pepper. These 4 medicines are combined in a specific formulation, and it is given for everyone that to prevent, to promote immunity, to promote respiratory immunity particularly. And people take it, people have self-knowledge, people sometimes add haldi, people sometimes add anything to it, whatever they want. But it should not be consumed. It should be consumed as per the direction. It is a medicine and not merely anything. Food also should be consumed in a proper manner. There should be matra or the dose for anything. Either it may be food or either it may be medicine. Now we turn to metals and mineral origin drugs described in Ayurveda. Ayurveda describes many types of metals in Ayurveda which are used also now also. Metals which are used, you might be knowing gold and silver, which are very common. We use Suvarna Bhasma and Raupya Bhasma. Also, we use calcium sources like natural calcium sources like Shankha, Shukti, and Kapardik, which are called as conch shell and kauri. We also, in Ayurveda, we use salts like rock salt, sonchal salt, common salt, and black salt. Sorry, there is a typing mistake. Which is called as Saindav, Krishna Lavan, Samudra Lavan, etc. Bhasma Kalpana means, Bhasma means, literally it means ash. But Bhasma means a calcinated product in which the starting material is made into fine paper-like thing, and which is undergoing many purification methods, and then it is incinerated in a proper manner. It is having, doesn't mean it is burned out. It is incinerated in a proper manner where gradual heat is given so that it turns into a bhasma. It is having incorporation of some other minerals or some herbal formulations, some decoctions also. This is while searching on internet, I got this link, and in this I saw that many metals are there in our body, elements in the human body. This is according to the periodic table, and they have a very essential role in our body also. For the bhasma is prepared very carefully in Ayurveda, and there are certain tests in Ayurveda. I will describe it in brief, but in the chart you will see. Any metal in a raw form, if you dip in the water, it will sink down. But the bhasma should be vari tara, means vari means water, and tara means it should float on the water. It should be so fine that it should be rubbed between the fingers and should be smooth to touch. And it should reach within the finger line. So it is so much very small. In modern times, you can say that it is nano size. Every metal has a shine, and bhasma is only used when it is out of shine. So it is nischandra. Nirdhumatva. Nirdhumatva means if it is put in a test tube and if you burn it, it should not generate fumes. Apunarbhavatva means from if you make a Suvarna Bhasma, then and it should be used, but the Suvarna Bhasma should not again become Suvarna. That is Apunarbhavatva. That is one-way traffic. That once we prepare the Bhasma should not become a metal again. That is called as Apunarbhavatva. There is a specific varna, that is specific what you call color of a bhasma. Garasatva means it should not have any specific taste, or if you put it on the tongue, it should not have tingling sensation. Means particularly for the bhasmas of Shankha and Shukti, if they are made properly in a lemon juice and triturated in a lemon juice and properly given Bhasmikaran process is done, if you take a pinch of Shankha Bhasma or Shakti Bhasma on the tongue, it will not have tingling sensation. But similarly, all the here people are of modern pharmacy. Sometimes some people do use some acids to have fast Bhasma process. Citric acid. Lemon has citric acid. What will happen if you use artificial citric acid? Citric acid, if you use and if you prepare the Bhasma, it will definitely have a tingling sensation. Suvarna, modern aspect, in modern times also, Suvarna is in our heart. Suvarna basically in Ayurveda is said to be Rudya. It is Balya, means it is tonic. It is Rasayana. It promotes the immunity and longevity with a healthy status of life. And it is Vishagna, means anti-toxic. Similarly, Raupya or silver sulfadizine is also a famous drug in modern medicine. In Ayurveda, silver is used as a bhasma and is used for eye diseases, physical weakness or neurological diseases or seminal disorders also. Shankha, Shukti and Kapardi. All these are our shells of sea organisms and are natural source of calcium. But Ayurveda describes different properties of Shankha Bhasma, different types of Shukti Bhasma, and different properties of Kauri Bhasma. Shankha Bhasma is used in Ayurveda particularly for indigestion, loose stools, heartburning, acid reflux, which is called as acidity or abdominal distension. Mukta Shukti Bhasma is given for indigestion, cough problems also, calcium deficiency, osteoporosis. Kapardik Bhasma is given for bloating, irritable bowel syndrome. You will see all these are of calcium sources, but the shades are different. Though treated in abdominal diseases majorly, they will have a peculiar property. Mukta Shukti Bhasma is having slight Shita Guna, where Shankha Bhasma and Kaparda Bhasma are having slightly Ushna Guna. These are the raw materials which are used, and Bhasma is in the center, how it looks. Generally, they are white in color. Now we turn on to good manufacturing practices, especially with reference to raw material. As I am working in a raw material section, I am dealing every means in 8 hours I am dealing with raw material section only. So in raw material section, it should be firstly authentic, it should be lab tested, it should be as per Ayurvedic formulary of India, and quality control measures should be adopted. However, if a Hakim or a Vaidya or a Siddha medicine practitioner who is living in a small village and collects his own drug, pounds it, makes a powder and give only for his patients only to dispense, then he is not applicable for good manufacturing practices. But the pharmacy industry is should have good manufacturing practices. As I am dealing with raw material, adequate areas should be designed for having various categories of material. We discussed earlier that drugs of mineral origin, fresh drugs should be kept separately, dry drugs should be kept separately, metal origin or mineral origin should be kept separately, and there should be a good storage space. They should be labeled properly, the temperature should be monitored regularly and should be recorded. Housekeeping should be there. In raw material section, we require frequent housekeeping. The honey should be covered. It should be free from rodent pest, and continuous pest control procedures should be done. As a rule of GMP, every drug should be kept on proper racks, bins or platforms which are provided for storage. The received batches should be protected from weather conditions. There should be a quarantine section, and every medicine should be segregated. Otherwise, if we mix it, then it will be very problem. So there should be in quarantine section. First, the medicine will come and it will come in the quarantine section. Then the restricted lab person or the Vaidya should go take the sample in front of them. Then they should test it. After testing, if there is a green signal from laboratory that you should use it, then you should put the batch number. And then from the quarantine section, it should be taken in the usable premises. The segregation of raw material will be metal origin, mineral origin, animal source like ghee, honey, etc. Fresh herbs should be kept separately. Excipients should be kept separately. Volatile oil should be kept separately. Plant extracts should be kept separately. Resins, particularly now in the rainy season, resinous drugs will cause, or the salts, if they are kept open, they are hygroscopic, so they will absorb the water content. Some medicines like Shatavari also, though we keep it dry in the jute bag, and in the rainy season, they will have mild hygroscopic property also. But as far as possible, we protect them from all these adverse conditions or weathery changes. I am thankful to you all for my patient learning, patient hearing, and I'm thankful for my mother organization also, all the trustees of Ayurveda Rasashala and my Rashtriya Shiksha Mandal to give me this opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for that amazing and wonderful insight into that enormous world of Ayurveda. So let's see if you have any questions.
Yeah. Hello.
No, please unmute yourself. Yes.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So I think you explained it very well. That no one has any questions. It was very understandable, common terms, and it took off the curtain of.
Was it understandable 100% or was it understandable totally, or it was very out of the knowledge?
Isha Baheti sir has one question. Let him
Yeah,
ask.
I have a few questions. I'll ask. I'll unmute myself. I'll ask.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Good morning, sir. My
Very good
first
morning
question
to you.
was that why milk and curd are incompatible, and if it is incompatible, then why do we add them in Panchamrut together? This is my question, right?
Yeah.
Is milk and curd combination is incompatible?
I will answer one by one.
Yeah.
One, milk and curd alone means only milk and curd. If we mix together and consume it.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hear me. Hello.
You continue, sir.
If Viruddha Ahar is a sankalpana or kalpana in Ayurveda, in which many combinations are given that you should not mix with this and this and this and this thing. If we see that dugdha and dadi, that is milk and curd alone, if we mix together, they are incompatible. If we mix honey and ghee in equal proportion in weight and volume, they are incompatible. But the method of preparing Panchamrut is different. There is a certain part of milk, then the half part of curd, then that part of honey, and then that part of ghee, and then the part of sharkara. In this, if you see the combination, it is called as Pancha Amrut.
Yeah.
Hello?
Yeah, continue, sir.
In this, if you see the combination of this, means traditionally Panchamrut is prepared. Panchamrut has many terms, means many Panchamruts are there in Ayurveda. But traditionally what we prepare is Dugdha, Dadi Madhu, Grita, and Sharkara. It is called as Panchamrit. The one part is Dugdha, then the hot part is ghee, curd, then that part is honey, then we make it less and less, means 4 to 4 to 1 half 1/4 like that. And if we mix together all, you will see that there is a ghee inside. There is a ghee. Ghee is Vishagna, means it is antitoxic. And these all mixed together, that doesn't become incompatible. And Panchamrit is consumed in a very low quantity, 1 teaspoon. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
And it is very consumed in low quantity. Though it is consumed regularly, and Panchamrit is as a ritual, we consume it daily. It will have good effects only. No one has its bad effect. Even I have told you earlier that ghee and honey, if we mix together, then they are also viruddha. We only understand that milk and curd is viruddha. But milk, curd, honey, ghee, sugar, totally when mixed together, it is not an incompatible diet. It is only given in very small quantity, 1 to 2 spoons.
Right.
So
yes, sir.
It's not incompatible. Because it contains ghee, it is, though there will be some mixture which is incompatible, that incompatibility will be balanced by the ghee and balanced by honey also and sharkara, that's way.
Right, sir. There are many incompatibility like milk and fruits. They are incompatible.
Yes, sir. That is incompatible.
Yes, right, sir.
Means
very nicely answered, sir.
Two things mixed together. If you take a milkshake, hello?
Yeah, that is incompatible.
Yeah, if you take a milkshake and if you consume it, you feel good for the tongue. But if you keep banana milkshake in a glass for 4 hours, it will turn black.
Right.
That is incompatible.
Right.
5 things mixed together, Panchamrit in a specific quantity mixed together is not incompatible.
Yes, sir. Thank you for this answer, sir. My second question is, sir, the composition of rock salt and the composition of sea salt is same. Then why rock salt is so given the more importance, or it is better than the sea salt?
Yeah, we come to NaCl first.
Yeah.
Samudra Lavan. Samudra Lavan, or the Samudra meat, what we call in Marathi, or the common salt. The common salt was not the iodized salt which we get today, or the NaCl which we take today. And Samudra Lavana has NaCl majorly, but also has some other traces also. And rock salt, though is having NaCl majorly, but if you see the Vipaka, hello sir.
Yes.
The Vipaka of Saindav and Vipaka of Samudra Lavan, that is the post-digestive parinam on our body. The Saindav has having Madhur Vipak and Samudra Lavan is having Katu Vipak. This is less having Saindav is having less heat and Samudra Lavan is having more heat. So Ayurveda prefers Saindav Lavan.
But the question is, sir, the composition is almost same.
Sir,
so what is making them like
chemical composition though may be same, sir, the appearance is different and the effect on the body is different. So we are related with the effect on the body. So if we consume Saindav, means in the olden days, in the Chaturmas, or people used to consume Saindav because in the rainy season might be some infection will be there. So to protect from it, Samudra Lavan is not consumed. Any lavana, means any salt, should be consumed in a certain limit only. And though both are NaCl, but the organoleptic characters are different, the effects on the body are different. The Rasavirya impact of the Samudra Lavan and the Saindav Lavan is different. So, though having NaCl same, but Saindav Lavan is preferable? Are you satisfied, sir, with my answer?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Partially.
Yes, sir.
I think
Yes,
so,
sir.
partially.
Yes, sir. So my next question is funny question. Actually, I think so. Sir, you talk about Dhataki Pushpa, Woodfordia fruticosa, right?
Yes,
We are
sir.
using in Asavan Arista. So my
Yes.
question is that can we use this Dhataki Pushpa because it contains 16 types of yeast as per the literature. So
Yeah.
can we use this Dhataki Pushpa for making like bread or the idli batter at home, right? Can we try it? And what is your opinion about this?
Sir, never tried such thing. But, sir, Dhataki Pushpa, if you see, Dhataki Pushpa will, if you put in, suppose if we take some, prepare a Dashamula Rishta, for that if we prepare Dashamula Kwata, then we prepare a syrup. And in that, some liters, we take only, suppose if there is 500-liter batch, we take only 5 kilo of Dhataki Pushpa.
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir.
And
Yes.
after putting it in fermentation for a month in a wooden container, if we put it, it is given in a stipulated quantity that it will not generate more alcohol. So
Okay.
it will only ferment up to its limit only. And that
Right.
limit is checked, means alcohol percentage is checked, sugar percentage is checked. This is regarding for the Asav and Arista. And only, it doesn't only contain yeast, it also contains, sir, its name is Woodfordia fruticosa.
Right.
So
Yes.
it contains sugar also. And I don't think it will be good for using it for, as it is a medicine, it should be used in medicinal preparations. I don't recommend it to be used in idli or fermentation process.
No, just had come in mind. Just I asked.
No, sir. Sir, what will happen? That will turn out into some funny thing because it is not tried anywhere. But sorry, sir, I got it. Idli. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Idli is mentioned in Ayurveda in Ashtanga Hridaya Tika. That is the commentary in Ashtanga Hridaya. It is said that Mashakruta Indurika is prepared. Means certainly, if you search the Ayurvedic literature, it is more of food and also more of medicine also. But food is also very well elaborated. In that it is said that the black gram and the rice only should be mixed and kept overnight.
Okay.
It is set, means it is set that bread, of course, it is a Western diet. I don't know that how it will work. But idli, what you say, idli is mentioned in Ayurveda in Vagbhat Shita Pita Adhyay. In that there is a commentary of Hemadri. In that Hemadri, of course, was from Marathwada. Hemadapanthi Mandira, what we see, the structural, he was the Sanskrit scholar, and he has commented on it that though black gram and rice are though having two different properties, the combination of that, which might be idli, if it is given in with butter, it is useful for facial paralysis. Like that thing it is.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So I think it is not advisable to use medicine in food, rather.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. So one more question from my side, like, is there any scientific process or working is there going on to understand the three dosha, right? Especially in the part of preclinical studies, right? I'm interested in Ayurveda and I do Ayurvedic like herbal research, and like I had a talk with Dr. Girish Tillu from University of Pune. So like, can we have like three dosha? Is there any process or any way by which we can understand Vata, Pitta, Kapha on the animals, right? What is your view about this? Is there any study going on? Because some months back I heard that in Amrita University they are working on this model. So
Amrita University also they are working in
on pulse.
For pulse diagnosis they are working.
Yeah.
If you see the ancient text, Nadi Pariksha, which is very commonly, means if any anyone, if any person feels ill, and if he is an Indian, surely when he goes to the physician, he puts up his
Nadi.
hand and tells the physician to check his pulse first. This is the Indian sentiment. The Nadi Pariksha came in Ayurveda in Yog Ratnakar, means pre-Shivaji Kal, means in 1516. Yog Ratnakar, it is first described, and in that many people are working on Nadi Pariksha to elaborate the status of Vata, Pitta and Kapha. Hello?
Okay.
But in our body, everyone has all these three doshas.
Yes, right.
And the Nadi Parikshan is now recently some industry has also come forward and they have put digital Nadi Pariksha. The sensors are being developed like fingers. Means some physicians have tested some patients, and the same patients were subjected to the Nadi Pariksha. Their observation and their observations were compared, and the digital Nadi Pariksha is now in the industry. It's in clinics also. Some people promote Nadi Pariksha.
So I'm asking in the like preclinical side, right?
In preclinical studies, means in Ayurveda is for Ayush, for means human beings, and preclinical studies, that is a question of research, that how we can elaborate the Vata dosha in albino rats.
Exactly,
So
that is what.
it's very difficult to tell me right now, but it is a good question for a researcher who is in preclinical studies, and how he can, means the pulse is examined in wrist, in the plantar region, many ways, but in the wrist, means the human anatomy, the radial pulse is examined. How we can examine the status of the doshas through the means of the rats. There might be some other parameters which are to be studied, and that is a part of the different research project. Hello?
Okay, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Yes, sir.
You got my thing?
Yes, I got it.
In human thing, human pulse can be seen, human nature can be seen. If but for presumption, hello.
Yes, sir.
Hello. For presumption, if we give some particular diet, for example, black gram to 3 albino rats, and or for example, black pepper if we give to 3 albino rats, and if only one albino rat develops red patches on the skin, then we can assume that he is having Pitta Prakriti.
Okay. Yes,
like that,
right, sir.
it's a question of assumption and then the appearance of the subject.
Right, sir. Right, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Few more questions were there, sir. Just one last question I will ask. Like nowadays, we pharmacists, what we are doing, we are converting many Ayurvedic formulations into different formulations. For example, churnas are converted into tablets. Then we are taking some extracts out of kada and then we are giving people. Like there are a few products in the market also where the extracts comes and it is asked to patient to put in hot water and drink it, right? So what is your opinion? Because the Ayurvedic perspective is different. That kada should be fresh, but we are extracting it and now we are selling it. So in your opinion, what is it really good that what pharmacist is doing nowadays or pharma industry is doing nowadays, or we should take in as such what Ayurveda has mentioned?
Sir, ideally, now we come to the current scenario. Current scenario is of COVID-19. Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So in COVID-19, Ayush Mantralaya has given Ayush Kwat Churna and Chavanprash Avlaya. Right, sir? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So Ayush Kwat Churna has 4 ingredients. That 4 ingredients are in particular weight and measure different of each ingredient is there. And it is given in a prescribed format. That you should take that 3 gram churna in a boiling water or in with resin decoction or with jaggery water, like that. So this is for current, so that we can elaborate it in current knowledge. So Ayush Kwat Churna is given that should be taken in a prescribed format only. Fresh decoction will always have a good result. Right, sir?
Yes.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, yes.
But as a need of industry, suppose if we have a man who is having a urine stone. Hello?
Yes, sir.
And if he has a job of a travel from one place to another daily, he is not having feasibility to carry that Varunadi Kada glass bottle along with him. For that, he will, Ayurved Rasashala has made Varunadi Kashai Ganavati for that.
No, that
If you
point
have
is,
this
sir, that
effect,
is agree
hello?
that he can carry it. It will be easier
Yeah,
to
yeah.
carry and
For
save less-
feasibility,
Yeah.
for the travel time, for the feasibility or palatability, it is better. But the result of Varunadi Kada fresh prepared and in the liquid state which is kept in the glass bottle is more than Varunadi Kashai Ganavati. But rather having no effect, it is better to have some effect on the body, some
Yes,
medicine
sir.
to be given. So
Yes, sir.
this is the type of time adjustment. Kalaya tasmai namah.
Right, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir. It was really a wonderful session. Thank you for enlightening us, sir.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So we have a few more questions from our students.
Yeah.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir. So the first question is from Sanjana Talati.
Yeah.
What role can Ayurveda play in this COVID-19 situation?
First, I told you in my lecture that Swasthasya Swastha Rakshanam. Ayurveda aims to provide every man to be healthy. Either if he gets ill, then how can first you should be prepared that you should wake up early. There is a daily regime. Then you should have snana daily. You should have now, as per the COVID-19 guidelines, you should have the hygiene of hand very good. And many medicines are there which will promote the immunity. Means Ayush Mantralaya has recommended Chawanprash Avleha. If there is a proper prepared, means no, I think now if you see on the TV, every ad will lead to immunity only, right from dishwash bar to clothes. So now immunity is a hot cake. But Ayurveda has described immunity, immunomodulators, increasing immunity, immunity promoting medicines long ago. Like Amalkya Avleha, Rasayana Churna, Chawanprash Avleha. If Chawanprash Avleha in current scenario is very good, that will keep us healthy and promote our good health, ultimately boosting our immunity. Ayush Churna is specially designed in this situation to improve our respiratory immunity. See, there are not only COVID, but there are many known and unknown viruses in the atmosphere. There are many bacilli in the atmosphere. But does everyone gets affected from it? No. Some people get affected. Who get affected? Who are in the risk, who are diabetic or who are having blood pressure, means they are having low immunity. So Ayurveda says that if you do timely daily regime, timely seasonal regime, that how to behave in winter, how to behave in rainy season, how to behave in summer season, you will definitely fall less ill. And in current situation, for understanding pharmacy students, immunoboosters like Chawanprash or Ayush Churna, if consumed daily, definitely they won't. They will get protected from this pandemic or epidemic. But of course, it is not 100%. If you don't wear the mask or if you don't have health hand hygiene, then ultimately you will get attacked from somewhere. Because if you see the current scenario, the COVID-19 is, Ayurveda described it as a Jana Pada Dvamsa. Pada means city Jana means people who live in the city, and Dvamsa means demolition. So this is type of a Janapada Dvamsa where air, water, food, everything gets affected. And at that time, what is to be done in Janapada Dvamsa? Stay alone, stay safe. This is described in Janapada Dvamsa. Ayurveda describes that during Janapada Dvamsa, stay in your home, stay calm, get your mental health good by doing some spiritual exercises, do some physical exercises, do some yogic postures, consume Chawanprash, and of course Ayush Pachurna, like this. I think the question has been answered. Hello?
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Hmm.
So the next question is from Mugdha Kulkarni.
Hmm.
How does the effect, next question, how does
Yeah.
the effect differ if we drugs like Brahmi through oils or in homeopathic therapy for hair nourishment, which is more beneficial?
See, the Mugdha Kulkarni is Maharashtrian, right? May I speak in Marathi with your permission? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
होमिओपॅथी ही टोटली वेगळी पॅथी आहे आणि ब्राह्मी ही आयुर्वेदीय वनस्पती आहे. ब्राह्मी प्राश जो आपण बनवतो किंवा ब्राह्मीचा जो मुख्य उपयोग आहे तो मानसिक ताणतणाव किंवा मेंदूवर काम करणारी आहे. हॅलो. So this is what you call medicine which is acting on mental stress or mental problems. What was your question? That does it have different effect if it is applied externally and internally consumed? Hello. Hello.
Question. And sir. Yes, sir. So the question was that which is more beneficial for the hair nourishment?
Hair nourishment, of course. Hair nourishment. If you see, Brahmi oil is given. It is not for hair nourishment. Brahmi is used for Brahmi along with Maka, Avla, and other ingredients are used in Brahmi tel. And for hair nourishment, Brahmi internally is not better. Externally, Brahmi tel, which is the formulation of some other pharmacy, of course, Brahmi tel is used, and that is for hair nourishment. Internally, if you consume Brahmi, if your means it is up to physician's discretion that if you are having mental stress and if you are having hair fall, are you having calcium deficiency and then you are having hair fall? If you are having mental stress and you are having hair fall, Ayurveda physician can also recommend Brahmi for internal administration. But generally, Brahmi oil is used for hair problems. It is used externally. Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir. I got your answer. Next question is from Saina Bhatt. Why most of Ayurvedic medicines give heat reaction in many cases?
I didn't get you. Hello? Hello?
The question is why most of the Ayurvedic medicines give heat reaction in lots of cases.
Why most of the medicines give heat reactions? Means heat reactions means what? They do itching or they have boils or like that. Hello? Hello? Hello, should I answer my question?
Yes, sir.
Hello? Yeah. During the qualities of the drugs which we have described, if the drug is made in a proper manner and if it is given in a proper dose and if it is tested, generally Ayurvedic medicine is safe. But if some drugs are there which are having hot potency or Ushnavirya drugs are there, they should be given in specific dose and specific form. If a man goes and takes Pancharist, for example, Jandu Pancharist. Hello? Hello?
Yes, sir.
Or if he takes Panchakolaso by his own self-medication for his low appetite. But if he is having a pitta problem, another pitta problem, then if he consumes that with advertisement, then if that medicine goes inside, then he will definitely have some heat reactions. But if he should first consume it with discussion with the Ayurvedic physician first. Means the Ayurvedic physician will judge the prakriti of the patient and then give medicines which will be suitable. Hello? Hello?
Audible.
Hello? Generally, physicians who prescribe the medicine, they prescribe after the prakriti pariksha of the patient and then they give the medicine. So generally, drugs which are prescribed by physician are in a specific dose, specific form only after judging the constitution of the patient. After judging it only, generally, usually they will not get any hot reaction. But if a man goes in and takes over-the-counter drugs, definitely he will not be acquainted with his constitution. So he can get some hot reactions also. In which contest you are asking? Hello?
Sir, the question is from Saina Bhatt. So this
Yeah.
is the question that she has put in the chat box. She is asking in reference to itching.
Itching, yeah. Sometimes people very rarely have itching problems also. That is if it is taken, some drugs are there which are of hot potency. And if they are taken without physician's discretion. Hello?
Yes,
Hello?
sir, you're audible.
If some people, for example, if I judge the patient is having sinus problem, for example, and if I give him a ginger powder, and which is suitable for him, then I judge his prakriti, and if he is a delicate, I will add on some things like sugar or ghee, which will pacify that. But if a man goes in the internet and takes only dry ginger powder with hot water, he will definitely have some hot warmness in the stomach or itching problems or anything. But so it is advised to take medicines after discussion with Ayurvedic physician. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hmm.
Yes, sir. So the next question is, sir, could we use Ayurvedic for lifestyle diseases as well? Something which will be a part of our daily intake.
Yeah. Daily regime or dinacharya, in that many formulations, many medicines are described. Right now, with the earlier reference to earlier question, we can first in our daily regime when we wake up, after that we brush our teeth. In that, if we use herbal medicines after paste or before paste, then there are Ayurvedic medicines for that. Tooth powder is there, Ayurvedic tooth powder. Daily nasal administration of ghee is good for sinus problem. Then daily use of foot massage at night will give a sound sleep. Then daily if you have gargles with sesame oil application on the gums, you won't have dental problems for a long. There are many lifestyle disorders. For that, many medicines can be given. But in daily regime, if a man, suppose if a man or a human being is obese, then he should quit wheat. He should opt for non-gluten diet like jowar, bajra, barley, etc. Then he should have adequate physical exercise. Physical exercise should be done according to Ayurveda, half of his strength. There are guidelines according to Prakriti, Bala of the patient. So
Yes, sir.
if we follow the daily regime, there will be no lifestyle disorder. Means
Okay, yes.
if you follow daily regime, there should be your daily exercises. You should wake up early to bed and early to rise. That is the proverb which is in Ayurveda. That is Uttishte Brahma Muhurte. Means you should wake up at 4 o'clock. My day starts at 5 o'clock in the morning. So there is certain reason. If you wake up in the morning, you will have no constipation, no any problem, no digestive problems. Then if you do follow the daily regime also, you will have no lifestyle disorders. By the grace of God, cholesterol and all these things, they will be get ridden. If you do physical exercises, if you quit meat and all these things. After all, what are lifestyle disorders? Lifestyle disorders will diabetes, obesity, cholesterol, and for that if you take long medication, long term, we take long term medication, but we don't follow daily regime. If we follow daily regime, all the lifestyle disorders will move up.
Yes. Yes, sir.
I think,
Next question.
yeah,
Yes, sir.
yeah.
The
Next question.
It's from Sanjana Talati. Will people choose Ayurveda in coming years over allopathy?
See, it's the human being's own choice that which medicine he should take, and by his own ichha he should take. Means people who are suffering from many incurable diseases, the quality of life is definitely improved. I have seen and treated many people whose diagnosis also change in modern medicine. So this is the question of debate, that will any science overcome? But Ayurveda is a sustainable science, so it is alive right now and will be alive till ages.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Uh,
That's true.
But
Yes,
see,
so we
every science, hello, I am not,
Yes.
I have what you call, every science has its own strengths, has its own weaknesses, the SWOT analysis, what you see. And every science has its own strength. So at the time of emergency, we should not be reluctant, but at the time, simultaneously, at the time of lifestyle disorders, we also should not be reluctant on any system of medicines. And we should not blame any system of medicine. Medicines are given for human being to cure and care.
Yes, sir. Right. Yes, sir. Sir, so the next question we have is from Vaishali Tavan. She asks, Sir, please suggest some medicine for gynecological problem and how to keep the uterus healthy.
Isha,
Yes, ma'am.
sorry to interrupt. How many questions are there?
Ma'am, this is the last question.
Okay, okay. Sir, please continue.
Hello?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
See, regarding Stree Roga, whatever I know, that the body itself takes the care of everything. To keep the uterus healthy, there are many uterine preparations in Ayurveda. But according to the constitution, if the woman is too fat, and if I give her Shatavari Gruta, it is not scientific. But if a woman is lean and thin, and if she has gynecological problems, and if she wishes to keep her uterus healthy or the uterine health more good, she should take Shatavari Kalpa, which is properly prepared. Means our Shatavari Kalpa means, I don't advertise, but a Shatavari Kalpa should be prepared in a proper way. Shatavari is one of the medicine, and it is called as Narayani, and of course Ashoka is called as a Stree Mitra. So after advice of proper Ayurvedic physician, they can opt for Shatavari Kalpa or Ashokarishta or some medicines. But after taking advice, of course, but Shatavari Kalpa is good as general uterine tonic and it is accepted generally. Hello, I hope I answered her question. Now next
Yes,
thing,
sir.
for uterus, having good health of uterus, there is one very simple exercise called as Sarvangasana. Of course, it is not to be done in pregnancy, but if to keep the woman slim and healthy, not lean and weak, what I say, to keep the woman healthy, if a woman does Sarvangasana and Surya Namaskar, that will be very sufficient. And a good diet means avoid junk food,
Yes.
avoid more salt is key for keeping a good uterine health. And then Shatavari Kalpa is going to help. But doing exercises, particularly avoiding salt and stale food and hotel food means Chinese. And what if you see that Ajinomoto,
Yes, sir.
hello,
Yes,
Ajinomoto
sir.
is not only bad for heart, it is also bad for uterus also. Means if you consume Shatavari Kalpa and if you take Chinese food, that is bad.
Yes, sir.
So avoid that. Do Sarvangasana, Surya Namaskar, apply sesame oil or Narayan Tel. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Apply Narayan Tel all over the body, at least on the abdomen, hands, legs daily, and take good food and Shatavari Kalpa. That is beneficial for uterine health. But Sarvangasana and Surya Namaskar daily once. Only one Surya Namaskar. Start with one Surya Namaskar 1 month, second month 2, and then after 12 months you can practice to 12. That is
Yes,
very
sir.
good.
Yes, sir. Correct. Sir, so I think we are done with the questions. We have some
Yeah.
students that would like to give us a live feedback of the lecture. So the
Uh,
first of them is Sanjana Talati from third year. Sanjana?
yeah.
Hello, thank you, Isha. Am I audible, Isha?
Well, and visible.
Okay.
I am also invisible, but I am audible.
Firstly, I would like to extend my warm thanks for organizing this wonderful webinar. And sir, you explained us really very well how Ayurveda can create wonders. Basically, in times of this COVID-19, Ayurveda is really a miracle therapy. Like we can prevent COVID-19 using Ayurveda. So it was really an enlightening webinar for all of us. And you also gave us really practical examples from our daily kitchen life, so as how we can use them and how we can use them to basically prevent the diseases. But also lead us to a better life. So thank you, sir, for this enlightening
First
webinar.
aim is to maintain the healthy status. Should I interrupt you for 1 minute? Should I interrupt you?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yes.
One Britisher came in India and he saw that people are so much unhygienic, and he commented that if, in such an unhygienic condition, how people remain healthy. He asked some another person who was Indian. He answered that, sir, in our Indian cuisine,
Yes, sir.
are of daily diet. Means, though anyone who is rich, who is poor, he will add haldi and mustard. So that is our antiseptic, anti-infective therapy. That is the question. So we are using haldi and mustard in our daily diet, and that is our cuisine is very Indian cuisine is very scientific. That will be a separate topic of webinar.
Yeah, true, sir. Yeah, it really blends with our modern science and creates wonder. Yeah.
Thank you, Sanjana. Next, we have Arya Gizre of second year who will be giving us a feedback.
Thank you, Isha. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. So basically, as you started with the session, the introduction to the Ayurveda related to pharmacy practice. Nowadays, we can see with the growing things like Ayurveda helps us to go to the root of everything, like to the root cause of what we the disease is, and it actually helps us to deal with the natural, means we are connecting the natural factors available with us. So this will help us to go in a big lead, like in pharmacy practice for many chronic diseases like cancer and many more. So
Arthritis.
this would Ayurveda practice will definitely help us to have a big lead, and to it will help us to cure the disease as well.
Yeah.
So that's what it is, and the
So,
session is really informative, sir.
yeah, thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Arya, for that feedback. There is a feedback link for the attendees to fill it. And last but not the least, I invite Kamble Bam to deliver the vote of thanks.
Am I audible, Isha?
You are.
Okay. So, thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm honored and privileged to have the opportunity to give vote of thanks for this section. On behalf of our college, I would like to thank the speaker, Vaidya Yogesh Prabhune sir, for such an informative session. I would like to thank respected Vaidya Yogesh Prabhune sir for accepting our invitation in spite of his busy schedule and sparing his valuable time for webinar on introduction to Ayurveda with reference to pharmaceutical aspects. Sir, your presentation was very informative, and personally, I think everyone has understood about the deep knowledge about the Ayurveda and its divisions, use, what are the different disease conditions, and what will be the Ayurvedic treatment, and how Ayurveda is helpful or to increase the immune system during this pandemic situation. So thank you very much, sir, for your valuable talk. I'm sure that today's interaction makes our MOU relation stronger and fruitful for MIT WPU School of Pharmacy. We'll have such more activities or interactions in future also. Again, I would like to thank management, Dr. Vishwanath Karad, MIT World Peace University, Vice Chancellor, Honorable Dr. Milind Pandey sir, Honorable Dr. B.S. Kuchekar sir, Dean, School of Pharmacy, Dr. Bahiti sir, Head of School, giving us an opportunity to arrange this informative session. I would like to thank today's session moderator, Professor Yogita Ozherde ma'am, for coordinating this webinar. Also, I would like to thank Mr. Pankaj Shirvate sir for technical assistance for this webinar, and Isha Avadani for comparing this session. Also, I extend my thank to Arya Gijare and Sanjana Talati for their live feedback. And lastly, I am also thankful to students, that is BPharm and MPharm students, faculty members from our college and from other institutes for attending webinar and sparing their valuable time for active listening. Also, I would like to thank students for asking the curious questions and making this session more interactive. So thank you very much, sir. Thanks again.
Thank you.
Over to you, Isha. Thanks.
Thank you, ma'am. So I thank everyone for joining us for this webinar today. Such information in the future in the series of webinars that we are conducting online. And thank you, everyone.
Just there is a feedback link, please. For this session, And another thing is that I want to photograph. So please, all the panelists, please video आप on कर सकते हो. All panelists.
कैसे करेंगे अभी, इधर तो कुछ दिखाई नहीं दे रहा. You are sharing one application.
पंकज सर, करता येईल का सरांना व्हिडिओ ऑन?
हो, करता येईल ना.
बायती सर, तुम्ही पण करताय का व्हिडिओ ऑन?
कुणाला शेअर कराय, कोण करणार आहेत?
नाही नाही, मला फक्त फोटो हवाय सर सगळ्यांचा.
ओके. सगळ्यांनी हे जे पॅनलिस्ट मधले जे आहेत ना त्यांची
हा,
meeting
हा.
काढायची.
हो हो, तेवढंच हवंय सर मला. तेवढंच हवंय. सर सगळ्यांचं एका ह्याच्यात येईल का? सगळ्यांचं एका पिक्चर मध्ये?
एकच मिनिट हा. आर्या
प्रफुल्ल सरांचं नाही होतंय वाटतं.
कॅमेरा.
एक मिनिट. दिसतोय का नाही दिसत?
नाही दिसत सर.
पण
ओके. पंकज सर घेता येईल मग? घेऊन टाकूया.
फोटोग्राफ ऑलरेडी पाठवलेला आहे, तो तिथं हे करा.
स्टार्ट व्हिडिओचा एक ऑप्शन आहे, तिथे करा ना तुम्ही. स्टार्ट व्हिडिओ केलं तर लगेच व्हिडिओ ऑन होईल.
कनेक्ट व्हिडिओ सिस्टीम असं आहे.
ठीक आहे सर, काही प्रॉब्लेम नाही.
प्रॉब्लेम.
कनेक्ट व्हिडिओ सिस्टीम असं आहे, तिथं करू का?
हो,
करून बघा सर.
म्यूटच्या शेजारी स्टार्ट व्हिडिओ म्हणून आहे सर बटन.
म्यूटच्या शेजारी. हा हा हा, एक मिनिट. म्यूटच्या शेजारी जे स्टार्ट व्हिडिओ म्हणून आहे ना,
हो
ते
हो.
डिसेबल बटन आहे हो.
हा, मग तिथे क्लिक नाही का? तुम्ही कॅमेराला
एक मिनिट. वी कान डिटेक्ट वेब कॅमेरा डिव्हाइस.
कॅमेरा नसेल तुमच्या याला डिव्हाइसला, त्यामुळे नाही दिसत.
कनेक्ट कॅमेरा डिव्हाइस और चेक कॅमेरा कनेक्शन असं काहीतरी आहे.
नाही, तुमच्या याला कॅमेरा नसेल.
सांगितलं आम्हाला सरांनी.
ठीक
ठीक आहे सर,
आहे.
आपण बाद झालंय लगेच घेऊया आता.
चालेल, डन.
ओके, थँक्यू सर.
Everyone for joining.
ठीक आहे सर, हे करायचं ना मग आता?
येस येस.
स्टॉप करूया.
करायचं का?
हो हो.
हो.